He's here too. My goodness.
You all set? Public comment on agenda items. Anybody have anything that's on my agenda that they want to talk about?
Haven't seen an agenda.
We don't have any
Okay.
hard copy.
I have, you're way ahead of me, Paul.
No, you're not. You're behind. They don't have the agenda yet.
You have copies?
You need to go?
You have cop? No, I'm asking if I do, if you don't.
Oh, no, I have copies.
Okay.
I'll get it for you tomorrow.
Yeah, there's no rush. I was just thinking about it since you're both sitting in the same row there. And I read the paper today, so.
All right, then.
Hey, Bob, is there a pen over there anywhere? I left mine in my car.
Oh, a whole bunch of them. I mean, how many you want?
But a judge here.
Got one?
He's a theft.
Okay, is there any questions on the agenda or comment on the agenda? No. Okay, so we'll move on. Previous minutes on April the 8th. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes from the April the 8th?
I wasn't here.
Oh, you weren't here,
No, nor was I.
and you were here?
Oh, you're gonna need me, because otherwise we don't have a vote, huh?
No, that doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm not sure what we're doing. We'll inquire to our attorney.
Well, technically, if they've reviewed them and are comfortable, they can move
I saw
into
the
our
meeting
vote.
online, and I read the minutes. I have no problem with it. If I'm allowed to make a motion, I'll make that motion. Okay, I make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so carried. Thank you.
Vote aye.
Well, that was odd. I don't think that's ever come up before. Communications. I have an email from our comptroller, which says we are receiving $13,079 from FEMA and $2,179 from the state, for a total of $15,529 for the erosion of the sewer lines on Cherry Street. We are receiving $38,088 from FEMA and $6,348 from the state, for a total of $44,436 for Brooks's Park, which is right now being repaired. The reason I bring this up is there was a point in time where we did not know if the state was going to, the way it works with FEMA pays, this is storm damage now, FEMA will pay 75% of the storm damage. And then hopefully the town would not have to pay the other 25%. We were hoping that the state would come in and pay half of that. Well, they have. So that's a really good thing for the town and the town taxpayers. Communications, I have a little note here that the Snavely family, Steve and Debbie, are moving. They're going to have a going away party for them at the Round Pond Recreation Park Saturday, May the 18th, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. There'll be a program at 1:30 p.m. And I have the, if you want to RSVP and to tell them that you're coming, it would go to Joyce Brooks. I have their email address and her telephone number. So if anybody wants to go, please see me and I'll give you all that information. Board liaison reports. We'll start with Councilman DeWitt.
It's a great start. All quiet on my end of the deal, so I
He
yield
saw
my
how thick
time.
my packet was and he went the other way, so.
What's that? Well, Richie and I attended a lot of the same events the last couple of days. I'm sure you got things to say about it, so I'll yield my time to Mr. Sullivan.
Very nice of you to do that.
What a guy, huh?
Councilman King.
Good evening, everyone. And good evening, everyone at home. I just have a few notes, so I'll get them right out of the way so we can give them the remainder of the time to my colleague to the right here. He's probably gonna need it.
Careful what you wish for, brother.
It's Earth Day. Happy Earth Day, everyone. So I went to the intermediate school and saw a phenomenal Earth Day presentation that was done by the Orange County Recycle representation there. Mr. Ermin
Slokovic.
That's it.
There you go.
Thank you for that. He did a great job presenting. In fact, Justin, if you could do for me, please, Mr. Ryder, hand those out. There's a few flyers there for folks interested in recycling that Mr. Ermin wanted me to share. And if anyone's interested in the Recycle Coach app, scan that right there. And you can have your own app that'll tell you how to break down your recycled stuff. Reminds me of when I was in Germany. They used to be strict about that recycling. So, there you go. The kids did a wonderful job asking questions. I mean, these are children from, I think, 3rd grade to 8th that were asking some very good questions about recycling and very attentive. Another great job by the Connect program. I met with Commander John Flynn of Post 633, American Legion, here in the Highland Falls, town of Highlands area, and we're going to work together to put together a veteran art therapy program. I don't know if you're familiar with this terminology, but for folks who have suffered from PTSD or other types of trauma, art could be an outlet. And although we're saying veterans, we'll open it up to anybody else that wants to participate. But we're going to design it for the vets in the community at the American Legion, and coming soon. More to follow on that. But they're already doing this at the American Legion in Windsor. I participate personally at the VA hospital in Montrose, and so we're going to bring that thing to your very own Highland Falls, New York. I met with the Juneteenth committee yesterday here in the community with Ms. Ann Molina from the center, Ms. Dee Dee Marino, and another lady, Ms. Arvanice Reed. And it's forming up to be another great year for Juneteenth. As you know, Juneteenth is on June 19th. This year falls on a Wednesday. So to celebrate the weekend will be the weekend prior to the 19th, the 14th, 15th, and 16th. Friday the 14th, there'll be a meet and greet here in the community. I want to say at Delizia Pizza, and that's for the folks who are going to come here from all over the country, particularly from Atlanta and other places. They may have used to reside here, they grew up here, and they're coming back for this thing, and there's going to be a meet and greet 6:30, 7 o'clock at Delizia Pizza, Friday, 14 June. Saturday at 11 a.m. will be the annual parade, and I believe this year is our 8th annual parade for Juneteenth here in the town of Highlands. It's starting at West Point, traveling south down Main Street, culminating at the Memorial Park with a flag-raising ceremony, and then afterwards a festival in the center of Highland Falls there at the park across from, the parking lot across from Sacred Heart Church. There should be a lot of festivities with vendors and all that kind of stuff that's happening there. And then Sunday, I don't know if anything's planned particularly for Sunday. Simultaneous, we'll do some stuff for veterans that we call the Veterans Resiliency Retreat. There'll be a Friday holistic health workshop at the American Legion. There'll be a Saturday night Resiliency Awards Gala. That's where we give out these awards to combat veteran suicide by using the term resilience. And so if people who have been in the area have been accustomed to this for a few years now, and we come out there wearing all white because we honor those who have passed with that color white, and then we give out these awards. So we tell one person's story of resilience, another person may say, you know what, if they can do it, I can do it too, and they'll hang on a little longer. And then we'll culminate that program for vets at Morgan's Farm on Sunday with a equine assisted learning experience. That's where you use horses to help humans with trauma heal their issues. And so look forward to all these great things happening that's going to bring lots of folks into our community. And then I just conclude with, got around the community today to include Roe Park and throughout the town, and it looked like a wonderful spring day to me. Lots of folks riding bikes, lots of folks planting in their gardens and doing all the wonderful things that give us a wonderful feeling about this place we call hometown USA. No further statements, any questions, I'll be standing by.
Councilman Sullivan.
Thank you. So I've had people tell me when they're at home, they mute me. Tonight would probably be a good night to have that button available if you want to. Otherwise, if I see more than 5 hands, I'll just abbreviate it. So let's start off. I have a lot tonight with the building department. Spent a lot of time in town hall last week with Philip, as did our engineer John Russo. Down in the cellar, there's some things being done, which includes under drain, but it has to be done intelligently because there's some hollowing out down there, and Bob knows more about it than I do. They may pump grout, they may do several things in order to rectify it, and that probably comes from 100 years of tidal, up, down with the water under there. There's some places that have 1.5 feet of hollow. So that is being addressed by a very good contractor who's actually a product of Highland Falls. No collusion, that just happened that way. So for the month of March, because I wasn't here last meeting, we had, for the building department, 10 permit applications were received, 9 were issued, 10 certificates of compliance, 48 building permit inspections, 18 fire safety inspections, 9 violation notices were issued, 14 violations were closed out, 10 municipal searches were done, 17 FOIA requests. That's a lot of work. And if you hear the fire inspections, a lot of that's done by Lankin Tully. You may not see them in the office. They have a guy, they have 3 people there that are code enforcement officers, building safety inspectors, and fire inspectors. So that's being covered, and that goes back to Suffern 3 years ago when that poor fireman burned to death, and there was some issues with fire inspections not being done. We're doing them. Some people don't like that we're doing them, but we're doing them. With the sewer, so down at the sewer plant, Bob sent me a text the other day that was pretty cool of our new bar screen being installed down there. That was a product of FEMA. And is it operational yet? I saw them installing it, but I'm not sure if it's up and running.
I don't have an answer.
Okay.
I didn't go down there
I think
today.
I sent pictures to everybody, but it was being installed. It wasn't done yet.
I think you should note that. I sent pictures out before you did.
Proud of you.
On this.
Proud of you.
Yeah.
So the only thing left down there, aside from a conversation we're going to have later on, there's one building, the sludge building, that doesn't have a roof on it. We TV cameraed the system, not all of it, put roofs on buildings except for one, replaced the guts in every clarifier. We have a belt press down there that's state-of-the-art for squeezing the sludge and using polymer. We have that $300,000 dechlorination building, because if you chlorinate, you have to dechlorinate. You have to do both. My goodness, we've done everything down there, and I think there's people that still aren't happy, but we sure try. I'm not talking about the public. I'm talking about the bureaucratic agencies out there, you know. So,
And we
I
got
said-
more to go. We got more to come.
I know, and as for the DMR for last month, I think I sent it to everybody, and I'm just gonna cut right to the chase. Every February, Jimmy does an analysis of the year before. We were at arguably between 80 and 84%. Some criteria rates us at 120,000 gallons a day, other at 125. So we're at that capacity. The planning board had the holiday income for the fourth year. They got an extension. They say they're going to build this year, a building the same size as what's there now. And there's a few other projects out there that are well on their way in progress. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later on, I guess, right, Bob?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next, after a long, hard tax season, I believe Nancy is somewhere else in the world right now. So she wasn't at the zoning and planning board meeting. I didn't go to zoning, but I did go to planning. The zoning board set a public hearing for 915 Route 9W next month. They meet on the third Wednesday of the month, 7 o'clock here. You heard it from me. If you want to go to the public hearing, that's what's on their agenda tentatively. They may have something else come up, but that'll be a public hearing. Planning board, I was here for that one the other night, and it's kind of amazing. You go down Mine Dock Road, you have that one building, which is like 3 or 4 stories. They got a variance about a year ago or half a year ago or something like that. They were tagged by the storm and remediated most of that. They were before the planning board with a legitimate bridge and a whole bunch of other things. That was a public hearing, and I believe pending a final resolution that they approved that. Is that, I got to give credit to somebody with that type of drive, because back in 1985, the town did a study of that area, and they cited the whole area as having the blight. And some people might remember where MRS is at now. I mean, I'll say his name, Mr. Frank Fay, a man I respected greatly, lived in a house that's no longer there. That area had the blight, and most of those houses are still there. They survived the storm, and they're moving forward with them. I applaud that, and I wish that gentleman well. At the highway department, I spent the whole afternoon up there today, and a bit of time last week. So I'd like to thank Greg Marr, Tiffany Montalese, and the 4 people we interviewed for the foreman's position today. I'm not going to mention their names yet. Are we going to do something about this later on, Bob?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll wait till later on and bring it up, and that is basically Greg's decision, who he thinks and I would support the foreman should be. The DPW is down at Brooks's Park. That place is a sopping mess. We live in a different world now. They're down there trying to dry it up. They're doing a pretty good job. They rented a machine appropriate for it and have some drainage going pretty well. I think you read off FEMA gave us $44,000 for that project, I think, something like that. You know, which I wish it were more. We did a little workup on it, and Bob mentioned doing the playground equipment first, so that when people come there, there's at least something to utilize, because it's kind of a mess right now. That was conveyed to Greg today, and that's the road we're gonna go on. They have, the DPW has things going on Wyatt Road that are being addressed. In the water department, we have most of the cellulars except a few rectified. The radio reads, which are not cellular, they gotta go around with the Trimble. They'll be going around tomorrow, I think, getting the readings. We have the parts to replace all those. And although they're busy, Greg tells me he can dedicate 1 day a week to guys working on that. So we'll get, Ryan's experience with it, so we have guys that have done it before. So that ball is rolling forward. I'm 2/3 of the way done. The sanitation division has also been busy, given a great deal of effort, Alina, to truck number 69. I spent time on McCollum's Lane, and I spent time at the highway garage. They have replaced the gasket. The gasket only comes up a foot. That truck packs going backwards, and unfortunately, every time they dump a can, they have to pack. There's not enough room for 2 cans. So we're gonna change the route. We're gonna try and have them packed facing downhill rather than uphill to minimize the liquid coming out. They filled it with a foot of water, and I was there, and they took pictures of it. Not one drop came out. And some people are not real happy with me, and that's okay. the garbage police are out there, and if you're putting oil or things that don't belong in your garbage, it's gonna be noted, paint and things like that, because we can't guarantee those things won't leak. And so they're out there doing their thing. I got a few phone calls, people not being happy, but that's okay. And on recycling, there is never a reason for any bag of any kind to be involved in recycling, whether it's hefty, saying that they're biodegradable and whatnot. No bags in recycling, you'll get it tagged out. There's no reason for any bags on the recycling. And I have my expert in the back there, Olga, to help me if I'm wrong on anything. I'm a Battle Site member, and I went to the meeting last Wednesday night down at the museum. That place is open for the season, and I know they're closed 1 or 2 days a week. I don't remember which days. You have to call and find out. But this Saturday, they have a guy who's very good. I think his name might be Tom Hunt, doing a blacksmithing demonstration from the hours of 11 till 4. He's showing people how to cook using colonial methods and whatnot. His presentations are quite interesting. I want to thank the center, Ann Molina and Pastor Agnes Safori, for inviting me to present at the last Sit and Chat. I did a 25-minute presentation on the infrastructure of the Forest of Dean Mine. It was pretty well attended. Mary Jane came, thank you for that. But I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to talk about May 8th, when the next Sit and Chat occurs. And they're gonna have a group of local, old, still living businessmen. We're gonna record them. There's gonna be 4 or 5 of them be recorded talking about the things that they were involved in, as well as their families over the years. And I'm going to record it because I think it'd be good for posterity to have that stuff somewhere in the archives. Earth Day was a huge success at the library. Olga asked me to sort of be the MC. I think I left a few people out. I'm sorry about that. Our intermediate school science teacher, Mr. Andrew Krakoka, received the Greener Award from Belny Montalese, who read a little speech. She was one of his former students. There was Joey over there doing the Repair Cafe along with John Blanc. They had a lot of work, and they did a good job. And the guy that we had doing the bicycles, I didn't catch his name. I was disappointed because I told him who Bicycle Repairman was from Monty Python. Does anybody know who that is? He didn't know who Bicycle Repairman was from Monty Python. So I kind of sent it to him, said he would know that. He did a good job.
Me too, I don't remember that.
A few times I've mentioned our historian, Ronnie Coffey, is engaged in a collaborative effort with Alex Przinta of the Woodbury Historical Society. And a bunch of historians are getting together this Sunday, April 28th, at the Woodbury Senior Center for a gathering of artifacts from different historical societies and having some fun noting them and talking about them. And I want to make sure I have the time right, from 12 o'clock until 4 o'clock at the Woodbury Senior Center, which is the stoplight in Highland Mills. It's the next block up behind it up there. I'm almost done. And the final thing is this guy, Alex Przintas, he's kind of a prodigy. On June 8th, he has a milk bottle museum. He's come to Highland Falls with the milk bottles. There's a lot of local families that had the Gibneys, the Pavicks, and he has some collections of their stuff. He has his own private museum, and I'm gonna have, if Kelly can, put this on our website or on our Facebook page so people can see it. That's on June the 8th from 11 a.m. till 4 p.m. It's a small place. He'd like people to call in advance and say you're going to be there at 1 or at 2 or whatever. I think it might be his own residence that this is part of. And so that's pretty cool. And that's it.
No, you left out, talk about the electronic recycling. That was part of Earth Day, but
Oh, yeah, okay. So I was there with you in the morning, 9:30, whatever. It was a very successful day. They were down there picking up electronic waste. We were talking today if we should do that twice a year. I think once a year is enough. The truck wasn't overfilled. It'd be nice to have it twice, but I don't know. Earth Day draws people anyway, so it's just nice to do that all together. And I want to I think Timmy McCabe was down there. I'm not sure if the town had anybody else down there. So that was a success. And if I forgot anybody, my apologies. It was a great day Saturday. Thank you, Olga.
Thank you, sir. Okay, under, the chief, do you have anything?
I don't.
Okay, and Justin, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Kelly, do you have anything?
No.
I have a resolution here which, every time this comes up, it puzzles me, but it's a resolution for the standard workday reporting resolution for elected and appointed officials. Kelly, this is basically for people that are in the retirement system, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to ask for, pardon me?
It's prepared by the town clerk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's the only one on this now, the resolution that I have here.
Okay. I'm not sure if there should be any, I'll check.
Okay. But anyway, we'll pass this. Be it resolved that the town of Highlands hereby establish the following standard workdays for these titles and will report the officials to the New York State local retirement system based on their record of activities. The name on here is June Patterson, Town Clerk, current term from 24 to 27, standard workday, 8 hours, and the pay frequency is biweekly. Do I have a motion to pass this resolution?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Sullivan?
Aye.
Councilmember King?
Aye.
Councilmember DeWitt?
Aye.
Supervisor Lipsy?
Aye. I think last meeting we talked about this. This is an agreement between the town and the County of Orange having to do with the planning departments. I don't remember if we passed this last week or not, but we'll pass it again if we didn't.
No, you passed it.
We passed it? Okay. Then the only thing I'd like to make a note of is there's a number of signatures that have to go on here. My signature, planning board chairman, and zoning board chairman. The planning board chairman does not want to sign this. So I'm gonna get the other signatures and send it in as is with a note saying he doesn't want to sign it. What causes a building moratorium? Well, Richie, I'll let you.
Don't you think they've had enough?
Explain the situation.
Okay.
With capacities down at the sewer plant.
Okay. So, the sewer plant does a DMR. I sign off on them after the plant operator submits them initially, so I know what's going on. And we've had infiltration, a lot of rainwater and all that stuff. So I'm gonna go to February of this year, which is when you do your annual analysis of what happened last year. And the long and short of it is that we are at 84% capacity. I don't know how much more you want me to talk about what led to this whole situation, or leave that alone, or, I mean,
Basically, I just want to get the word out there, because we do have two very large projects that we anticipate. We're going to have to look at our sewer plant and find a way to increase the capacity down there. And I think we've got to start with saying, we don't want to do a moratorium, and at this point in time, we're not going to. But a moratorium can only be, well, without extensions, up to 1 year. And Justin, if I make any mistakes,
I'll jump in.
And I'm going to ask you to jump in on this too. It's not something the town wants to do. You don't want to stop building because of this reason or that reason. Our two reasons could be not enough water, which we have enough water, or not enough place to put the used water in the sewer plant. We have a couple of different ideas on what we can do. We've got to get some engineering in on it, but we are definitely going to have to start with an expansion of the sewer plant.
just to soothe the nerves of the viewing public, I believe I'm right, this would only be for residents of the sewer district. If that's the reason for the moratorium, it wouldn't be anybody else except the people in the sewer district.
That's correct.
And this happened back when we did our master plan, when Inga was supervisor. We had one for a year. That's great. You think you can breathe, you kind of can't. Because at the end of that year, you have to come up with some type of a solution. So you're right, I don't think it's time to impose one yet. Talk is good, and the people in this sewer district, I had 2 properties that weren't tied in, I'm down to 1 now. You still pay points. I paid points on that for 40 years, as does everybody else that's in the sewer district. So it becomes passionate to them to be able to use their plant, and we have to make that happen.
Justin, anything that between Rich and I would
No
just-
glaring omissions. I'm happy to talk more about it if you want further understanding of the criteria for moratoriums, but as you both said, it's probably a little premature, but I can talk about it if you want.
Well, I just wanted to break the ice with the word moratorium. We've got to get that out because we are getting to the point where the sewer plant has to be expanded, and how we're going to go about that and when we're going to go about that and how long that's going to take, there's no questions there.
Yeah, one of the agencies that Richie may have been referring to in his report, the DEC, who monitors the Speedies permit for the plant, right? If you reach 90% capacity consistently, not in any given month, but consistently, they will then require you to start putting plans in place. So if you're 81, 80, 84, 85%, it is time to start doing some of your diligence, because as you bring more projects online, obviously that number will increase. So some diligence with the engineers certainly makes sense.
Yeah, enough of that. And we do have, I mean, we're not sitting back blind and not having any, I can't say we don't have an idea of what needs to be done. There's some sort of a storage tank that can be put in there for peak periods. There's expanding the plant with another circulator tank and what have you. There's moving the Hudson View Trailer Park, or no, not
Is
Hudson
it Green
View.
something? Highland Green, maybe?
Highland Green Trailer Park. That's 1/3 of the capacity in our sewer plant. Only thing is, if we were to take them and say, we're going to hook you up with the village, which the village has room, we move them up there. Now we have the capacity, but we also lose 1/3 of the revenue, which is a hard thing to do too. So we kind of know what we're doing or what we need to do. We just got to get it done. All right. Windows.
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 What do you want to know?
What do you want to recommend, or do you want to have a recommendation, or?
So, just to bring everybody, if somebody doesn't know, we, again, as we often do, thank Olga in the back of the room. We should just sit you up here and just put you up in the corner. And anyway, we started out with a $5,000 grant, so we decided to apply it to the windows here on the town hall are antiquated, and that's saying it nicely. Most of them don't open. They're not weatherproof, so we are going to apply that money, and talking to Kelly, we have some fund money available to get the windows done. We had 4 bids. There's a company called New Beginnings. They seemed, that was our middle bid. The windows, as anybody can see, are huge, so we need to have a very sturdy construction. So New Beginnings, they do a solid fiberglass window frame, and I think for the longevity and the life of the building, you know, to withstand the next 30, 40 years, weather, and everything else that gets thrown at this building, I recommend that we go with New Beginnings. Again, they were the middle bid. And of a good quality window. Windows are not cheap, as anybody probably well knows. And also our our court, Judge Maniti is also, seems to have found a grant through the judicial system that we can, hopefully, we still haven't ironed it out, but we should be able to apply that to some of the windows in their chambers. So that would give us even more leeway to get more done. The goal is to do the front of the building first, and as money, you know, we'll work on getting the whole building done to make it more environmentally stable. You know, it's going to be a lot of work. I think the number, Kelly, 34 windows we have? Sorry, I don't know that offhand. I know it's a lot.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about an average price of over $3,000 per, it gets to be a lot of money. So like I said, we're going to do it in stages. But again, meeting with all we had the 4 bids. We had a bid from a local contractor here last year. Again, New Beginnings seems to be the right balance with everything we need. They stand behind their product. The price was better than the big name Anderson. I feel equal quality. So I think we should move, I'm going to suggest we move ahead with New Beginnings.
Put that in the form of a motion, we'll go with that.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to hire New Beginnings to start phase 1 of the window replacements on the town hall.
At a cost of under $5,000, right?
Well, that's to be determined, how much do we want to take out of the town hall fund along with the $5,000? Maybe the judge, the judicial grant, I believe, is $15,000. We have 5, and then maybe we'll do a few more windows because we have some reserve money, according to Kelly. We just have to decide how much to dip into it, what makes sense. Obviously, we don't want to deplete.
Kind of need a dollar amount for a motion.
And you'll need, if you are taking money from the reserve, it needs, that reserve fund is a non-reserve fund, it requires a public hearing. You can do it after the fact and right?
Okay, then we're gonna have to do
start
that
the
because-
process, but
So, I don't know the court grant. I don't know what it's specifically intended for. I don't
Okay.
know. I haven't touched base with the judges to see if it's earmarked specifically for windows or if they can use it, or if it was for other things. I don't know.
Okay. She had seemed to indicate to me that, because, you know, the windows is what they, but yeah, we'll definitely need to do a follow-up. Of the 3 bids, if we're going to go with New Beginnings, and they'll come back down and give us a reevaluation and give us, you know, reevaluate the scope of the plan. The initial, we just looked at the big flag, we call it the flagpole window, because that's the biggest one, the most dangerous window. And then 2 windows in the chamber, not the chambers, but the clerk's office, the judge clerk's office. So we were going to start with them, and that price was $9,961.43 to start with the replacement of those 3 windows. So again, the minimum, that's where we would start. Again, if we can, like I said, Kelly said, if the judicial grant is applicable to this project, they'll be able to latch on to our bids that we received. And then that would give us another, you know, maybe 5 windows additional that we could go ahead and do. So again, I think the choice was really to which company to start with. So correct me on the procedure.
You'd like to make a motion that we accept the
bid from New Beginnings, window and...
right, the RSP from New Beginnings.
As per our procurement policy, maybe it's wise to do this in pieces, get them started. You got $5,000, bring them right inside and burn it up and move on from there. They can submit, because our procurement policy doesn't require competitive bid till we get to $35,000, is that correct?
Correct.
But by the request for proposals, because I've done that like you have a lot of times, if you call someone, they say, I'm not interested, that's a proposal, that counts. So I think you're solid there.
Well, and actually, regardless of the 35,000, we had 3 companies last month that came down and assessed and gave us proper bids. So, well, we went with that process anyway, because I think it obviously makes more sense.
Okay, so I have a motion to use New Beginnings for the town hall windows at a price to be determined by available monies?
Well, and initially 3 windows at 9,961.
Okay,
4-3, that's correct.
okay.
I'll second that.
That's second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, now,
Awesome.
before we go into general public comment, I have one more. As you all know, we have a new highway superintendent, Greg Marr, who used to be the foreman. So now that he's highway superintendent, we had a vacancy for foreman. That's what Richie was at the village, or at the village, yeah, at the town highway garage all afternoon for interviewing 4 different people for the job. Before we say who has been recommended, I have a problem that was created from downstairs to up here. I don't have anything from the highway superintendent other than, and believe me, I trust your word, no, what have you, that's foolish not to even think I wouldn't be. But I don't have anything in writing from him appointing a new foreman. I got in trouble at our annual meeting when I suggested that a certain person would be the deputy highway superintendent. And as it turned out, a few weeks later, a month later, that wasn't true. So I don't want to do the same thing with this. But if somebody makes a motion, and we'll
We're
do
not
it.
foaming at the mouth or anything, but I'll just say, as per their contract, it's very clear that it's Greg's decision, kind of with our support, something like that. And so, I mean, he's made his decisions, and I told him I'd support him fully. I won't say who it is if you don't want me to, if you want to wait until he submits it in writing.
Yeah, I
And
think
again,
so.
I'll thank the 4 people that interviewed. We could do that in 2 weeks if you want
Yeah,
to,
I think
so.
that would be the best thing to do.
Okay.
And Justin's shaking his head up and down, too.
I agree.
Because I don't want to create another problem.
This only happened like 3 hours ago.
Right,
so,
exactly, yes, okay. So everybody is okay with that?
Yep.
Very
And before general public comment, while I was up there today, Mr. Cassidy came up there. He wants me to call him Bernie, but I'm going to call him Mr. Cassidy because I respect him. We spent some time down at his place, as did John Russo, and made some recommendations which John Russo basically mirrored and sent out in an email today. He was only here last Wednesday. That's very good service. And it pretty much parallels what Mr. Cassidy was looking for, a separate drain pipe. Justin has already checked on the depth of the easement that's there, what we can and can't do. I gotta tell you, I think this one will be pretty easy insofar as if they come do their survey, lay it out, we could do it in-house if we wanted to. And I want to go about it either in pieces. I don't want it to be something where we have a competitive bid and we have to go through the whole thing, although I'm a union tradesman, with reviewing the payroll and all that. This isn't that big of a project. We can keep this one simple. And I think Greg's men can handle it, or a contractor that isn't like a conglomerate could handle it. So, we've been down there, and I'm very pleased the engineer gave us good service. I'm sure they'll have something to say in public comment, but
Okay, general public comment, anybody on anything? And just please go up to the microphone and tell us your name.
Bernie Cassidy, in reference to the drainage on Drew Road, on the way over here today, I noticed there's 3 drains on the south side of Drew Road, and there's 3 drains on the north side. Is there 2 pipes, or?
a lot of them cross over one to the other.
Okay.
In front of Mr. Wallace's house, there's one, that one comes straight down into your driveway,
Yeah.
and the one over at Eric Favor's house comes across
Right.
and runs up the south side. beyond Mr. Wallace's house, whoever lives there, I don't know if there are any more on that
I
side,
think
I'm not
there's
sure.
one up by Savidio's house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's another set.
okay.
There's 3 total on the
Yeah.
side going on.
So I'm just wondering, there's one pipe that's feeding the road, or servicing the road, but they're interconnected.
and like I said earlier today, remember I told you, watch these press conferences, and they're talking, and they're telling the Iraqi army how to make the adjustment with the Scud missile to hit where they're talking. So we're trying to only give the information with what we have right now. The analysis isn't done. Even the pipe going down your right-of-way is recommended at 15 inches. Maybe it should be 18 inches. That's not done, but we'll get it right.
Yeah, yeah, because I'm thinking, there's a lot of water flowing from private property into that road.
That's not against the law.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just wondering about the capacity of a 15-inch pipe.
Me too.
Okay. You're thinking about it.
Absolutely. Like, I got that email like 15 minutes before I saw you today.
Yeah.
I responded to John Russo. We'll have a conversation. It's no big deal to go to an 18-inch diameter. I don't think you need anything bigger than that. Maybe 24, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, the lake goes a different direction now. What you're getting is residual. We live in a different world now. There's water coming out of places it never came out of before, so.
Well, that's what I'm worried about. I mean, I know, I inspected several of those manholes or drain holes, and at times you look down and there's nothing. You go back there 10 minutes later and you see discussion of water coming
Yeah.
through. So it's coming from pumps from private property. Now, it's not illegal, however, it's something that we have to consider.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay?
Thank you.
If it's okay, I'm just gonna.
Anyone else? Yes, okay,
Carolyn
yeah.
Storm, so again, talking about Drew Road and the conditions down there. So Richie, once you do the full analysis, will you give us information about?
Yeah.
Exactly what will be done.
I've shared most of what we have. I
Yeah.
think I made a 7-minute infamous Richie Sullivan video that you were a recipient
Okay, I
of,
did get that, and we do appreciate that
Okay,
things are
you
moving
know,
quickly. We-
Crawled down inside the pipe and showed you what critters are in there and everything else,
Yeah.
So, no problem there. And like I said, I haven't talked to John. I responded to his email initially. I'm gonna suggest maybe take a little time to do an analysis and make sure that 15 inch is what's coming out of that catch basin now. Somewhere between there and about 100 feet away, you have a plate on the ground with a hole in it over 2 pipes that are not in good shape. Those are big pipes. I don't know what happens in between. Something mysterious happens. I can tell you the 15 to a 30 is not going to be watertight, whatever's going on down there. We intend to make it watertight. We intend to make it so there's a basin in the yard now, which is about 4 inches higher than your dad's cellar.
Right.
The new structure that's gonna go in, there is a new structure as part of this new run, and the new run is completely separated from what's there now. The new structure is gonna be at least an inch or 2 lower than the cellar. You know what I mean? So that way you have the underwater and groundwater, if you have the basin rim elevation higher than the cellar floor, what's the point? You're gonna get water in your cellar. We don't want that to happen, so
Okay, no,
that's where it's at.
That sounds great. And then I guess my other question, there was 2 questions that we had talked a little bit about is, when the water was separated and that large pipe was made behind the homes, if it was properly capped, that there's no water from actually the pond coming down Drew Road. So that was one thing. I don't know if that's been looked at yet.
That's going to be capped.
No, I'm not talking about in my father's yard. I'm talking about actually at the spill well.
Oh, yeah.
Because it seems at times that there is a lot of water coming down Drew Road.
It's not Garrison Pond. If it's Garrison Pond water, it's something subterranean under the dam. It's not anything out of the spillway. That's been looked at. That's watertight. It makes a pretty tight turn right there.
Okay.
And that's a brand-new dam. That was put in 2008, I think it was. And they bought a special clay, and they lined the middle of it with clay and all that, because we had an event back in 2006 where we had 5 or 6 inches in one day. And if you remember, the dam came very close to failing. That's what prompted that project.
Okay.
And I remember Mr. Cassidy talking today about, when the lake was drained down, should we have dredged it? It looks like the blob when it's drained down. It was drained down for the dam. It's just black stuff. It's probably anaerobic, and that wasn't part of the permit back then. That's a lot of years. Don't forget, not just Corbin Hill, the state changed things in 1984. So the drainage on 9W from in front of Bob's Restaurant all the way up to the Bagel Cafe, including sand and everything else, goes into that lake. That's where it goes. That's right.
That was one of our.
So you got the state you can thank for a lot of that,
Okay. And then the last question that we had was the catch basin that's back there, that's taking the 2 pipes. Will that be changed in any way? I know it's gonna be closed off and the other pipes coming around it.
Yep.
There'll be 2 separate systems, but is that catch basin okay the way that it is in there like that now?
It will be, once we get the other pipe out of there, it's back flowing up on the property.
That's fine. That's what I needed to know.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Sally.
So I'm Sally Dorsch. I am the Vice President of the Chamber of Commerce. We're going to talk about chamber stuff tonight. The Military Banners Program, that is a go. We are starting that. You can start purchasing them now. If you are interested in purchasing a banner, please email us at info@tohcc.org. Right now, I believe the price of the banners is $200, which they will be displayed, I believe, on the telephone poles going from Fort Montgomery all the way down to the town, throughout the town. We also have Art Walk. Art Walk is going to start again. That's going to start in June. That program will be from the beginning of June all the way throughout the entire summer. So that is a lovely thing that's happening also. We have the JIO senior banners. So a couple months ago, I brought it up to the school that we would like to start a senior banner program for our graduating seniors to honor them for their years of school here, for graduating. So that program went through. I just got the okay, I believe, on Thursday of last week. There's an opt-out form that will, once that is done on Thursday, I believe that's the last day, if parents don't want their child to be a part of it. And then it'll take probably about 2 weeks, and then we'll have these banners. These banners are gonna go on the storefront windows of our businesses from the town all the way throughout the village, so that we can celebrate them all. So we're gonna have a lot of wonderful things. We're gonna have the senior banners on the storefront windows. We're gonna have the military banners starting. Art Walk is gonna start. Let me see what else I'm forgetting here. We also have, so we had, Chris Ekus is doing, we have quite a few students that have been awarded the Chris Ekus Youth Leadership Award. So I believe altogether there was between 10 and 12 students between Stony Point, Highland Falls, West Point, and Cornwall. We have probably about 8 of those students. So there's a lot of them that have done very well. Out of that, 5 of them are from the Town of Highlands United Youth. We also have a few kids from the Town of Highlands United Youth and also from the Animal Science Program in BOCES that are going to participate and help out Dwayne and Jacqueline with the therapeutic horse program for Juneteenth. We also have our special events committee, We're calling all vendors for Cinco de Mayo, so this year, we're having a huge celebration for Cinco de Mayo. The road will be closed from the Village Hall to Town Hall. There's going to be a mariachi band, there's going to be dancing, there's going to be vendors, a huge celebration. So we are asking our vendors throughout our community if they would be interested in vending for Cinco de Mayo, for Juneteenth, for Family Fun Day. So Cinco de Mayo obviously is May 5th, 3rd Annual Community Fun Day is June 1, 8th Annual Juneteenth is June 14th through the 16th. And then the parade is on the 15th. So if anyone is interested in potentially vendoring, please contact Dee. Her number is 845-537-9229. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you very much, Sally, and thank you for everything that you do.
We all do it.
I know. No, we don't all do, but thank you for what you do, and your group, and your deed. It's a good thing. Yes, sir.
Hello, my name's Tim Donovan, and Long Pond is going forward. I'd worked on Long Pond. I put a bid in for it to be an outside concessionaire. I have over the years been speaking with Aaron about how I might be able to help the town of Highlands by bringing in some other features that could really be attractive to the kids and the community. The bid came up, and I actually didn't anticipate winning it, but we did. And I have been speaking with Aaron and making sure that there's not going to be any interruption in anybody's fun in the summertime. I'm involved in a couple of other programs locally. And like if I'm hoarse right now, it's because I was coaching the boys lacrosse team over at the high school. So I actually I bid on it in good faith because I actually believe in your community. And my kids went to high school here, and I live across the river. So if you'd like to reach out to me, Bob knows where I am. We worked on the flagpole down at Mine Dock, and I think you'll find. I think you'll be very pleased with what we're going to offer.
What's the name of your organization?
It's called Hudson Sky Ropes.
Hudson.com. Sky Ropes.
Tim has great plans for Long Pond.
All right.
Which, along with Aaron, he's including us in down there. And we'll just have to cross our fingers and hope everything works out right.
We have the equipment purchased, and I think the whole idea is really, I'm a believer in high energy for youth, and tire them out, make them excited about it, show them that I care, and done in a lot of different programs. And I know how much your community cares and how hard you work for your kids. And I just decided to throw in. And that's the result. There's nothing permanent, but it's definitely going forward.
Well, I think you got a 5-year contract, am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate what you're bringing to the table. By the way, I was at the practice today at the high school.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
I was the quiet guy.
Okay.
Any questions?
Please reach out to me at any time. And Aaron and I talk, and we want it to be locally derived, locally driven, and locally benefited. So.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Donovan.
Anyone else?
Good evening. Paul Stevick from Locust Lane. Two things. I'd like to commend Phil Hanwalt for addressing an issue that came up in our neighborhood. My neighbors and I got together, complaint, and Phil handled it and resolved it. Everything's nice and quiet, and Phil did a good job. And I appreciate that, and we all do. The the storm damage up on Locust Lane, I was curious as to the scope. They were there all this past week, and it seems like they've only done half of it, and they pulled out all their equipment. Greg Marr, his in-laws live above me. All this work was done below me. Greg did a lot. He and his wife and children did a lot. And then I'm right in the middle, and it seems like it's the forgotten child. And it has been my parents and my grandparents. So I'm just curious as to what the scope is, if that's going to be addressed across from mine as well, because it is a hazard to the town vehicles. There's it washed out. There's, I don't know, 18 inches wide by about 2 feet deep, where it washed out, and the plows had to avoid it all winter long. Not that we had much snow, thank God. But my daughter almost went in and almost lost her axle. So.
Richie, you gonna look into that?
I haven't been up there, Paul. That's one of the 3 roads that we put out for competitive bid.
Right.
Locust,
Right.
I forget the other 2, which ones. Wyant isn't one of them.
Dry Creek.
So,
And,
sure.
Laurel.
That was, I think, designed and bid as per Lankin Tully, right? They're managing that, if I'm not mistaken? John Russo's gonna get a phone call me in the morning, and I'll
Thank
go
you.
up there, Paul. Thank you.
So we'll look into it.
Not a problem, because I went, after the storm damage, I know the town was, the crews were
I think
so
I've only been
swamped.
up that road like twice in my life.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, your dad went to Bosse's with me to take an electrical program. I think that's the last time I was up that road, so.
When I went, and because I'm the youngest on my road, so to have the ambulance get access, God forbid that anybody needs it, I went after the storm and I cleaned the road
Yeah.
so they can get through. So,
We'll look into it.
Thank you, Paul.
thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else? Anyone else? No, I ask for a motion.
Motion. Oh, no, that's your job. Go ahead.
Nothing? Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank